Already last year, a lot of people told me that the race is really necessary to do. I think it's for a gravel racer in Europe, it's a must-do race, and I did some researches already last year, but I wanted to see it on myself, and then I decided this year I will go for it. I know it from the Gravel Earth series. It's already very good organized series all over the world, gravel races. And yeah, this race itself, last year they had like some difficulties. I heard it on a podcast when I was driving to other gravel race, and last year I think there was a lot of rain, and I think they even cancelled the long distance, the 560 or something. And yeah, they had some troubles, and it was also not so nice to race as it was this year. But to this I come back later. Yeah, I think it was for sure worth the trip. That's definitely. And we decided to do it. We put it on the calendar, the race, and after Monaco now, Monaco was a perfect preparation for it, because also Monaco had some climbing in there, and from the profile it looked similar, not that long Monaco, but it was ideal, I think, to go there and test. So Jakob and I, we went there, and we decided to go by car. It was 1,300 kilometers, quite far, so we broke the journey or the trip in 2 days. We started at noon, and we drove 8 or 9 hours to the Côte d'Azur. We slept there for one night, and the next day early we started again. And I could even do one part of the course recon on the, what was it, Wednesday. The race was on Saturday, so that was actually perfect. So I did 100 kilometers already on the travel day. The weather was very good there, and we just checked in at our accommodation. The travel was really easy and no problem. And I think next year it's ideal to do it again like this. It felt not really demanding, the travel. Yeah, on the recon on the first day, I met Thorsten, a former teammate of myself, and we rode a few kilometers together, not too much long. But he's from this region, or like he chose to live there as his second home. And he knows the region very well, and it was good to see that he knows it, and he told me a little bit about the track already. So that was good to start with, and yeah, I started actually with like a fast setup on the bike, and I really figured out that the downhills are very rough and bumpy, and also very loose sometimes. So you need much more grip. So, but for the first day it was okay, and it was after 100 kilometers I decided to stop, jump into the car, and go back and have some recovery, because the travel was also quite long, and it was a long day in the end on Wednesday. Thursday I did like a rest day. We completely rebuilt the bike. On that day I got a second wheel set, and we built this one, and also the bike, where there was a lot to do. Like the bottom bracket was like still not so good anymore, so we cleaned that and looped it again, and it was, after that the bike was serviced, and that was for Friday, for the second recon of the course. I went again, and got to, or I got told that I should do like the biggest climb of the race. That's in the middle of the race, or a little bit after the middle, after the feed zone assistance point. I did this climb, and then I only this, and then after the downhill, I jumped back into the car and did the last part of the course. It was also very tricky downhill, also steep climb. So in total, I think it was nearly 60 kilometers altogether, and 2.5 hours. That was the recon day, and the conclusion from this ride was that I have to go again on a Thunderbird, on a setup that is like for rough terrain. So 2.1 Thunderbird means 54 millimeter tire is pretty wide. Luckily, this tire fits into my old gravel bike. Hopefully I get the new one now. It was not on time for the Traka, but for Unbound, maybe hopefully it's there. Yeah, Thunderbird, and also a smaller chainring, because the climbs are very steep, and so I think I made some compromises this time on the setup of the bike, because I think I put more attention to the mountainous part, like to the climbing and the descents. And the flat part, it was also a lot in there, because the total course was 202 kilometers and 2,500 meters of climbing. But the climbing was a lot in the beginning and a lot in the end. And so I decided to play safe again, not having any flats, punctures, and also not crashing, and having like a safer setup for the descents. I think that was okay, but in some reason, I think, or I was thinking that in the race, sometimes I had the feeling in the flat section when it was very fast, we were riding sometimes nearly 45 kilometers per hour. I felt the bike was not so rolling that well because of the big tires, and also my bike itself is not so aero. So I think I lost quite a bit of energy in this part of the race, but I felt really good in the technical climbing and descending. So all in all, I think it was again the right decision, but I had also a really good day, I have to say. The legs were really good. Also, I feel that I made a small step forward in terms of my shape, little step, because I only missed by just a little the top group this time. I think if I could make this next time, I will be, will not get dropped anymore, because it's always the decisive moment is when this group gets separated, and there's the leading group and also the chasing group. I always find out in the end there is never a chance to get back to this group again, even if it's only a few seconds, and this gap gets bigger and bigger. But what else is to say? There's something I have to really say. The Traka is really the best gravel race in Europe by far. The organizer, they did a really good job. It already starts before the race, when they announced that they make anti-doping controls. That's really, I really appreciate that, because you feel there is like, it's more fairness then. You get with a better feeling there. Even I had the feeling even some guys didn't show up at the start line. I don't know I heard that a few guys got like sick or like even hay fever because there was a lot of pollen there. But maybe this is the reason for some guys not appearing. But I think in the end there are a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but the most guys, they like it. And I think if it takes the cheaters away, that's really cool. And this is really what I have to say. The organizers did a really good job in this case to make the race fair. And this is really the way to be. Then the other thing is, all in all, the race was really well organized. I mean, there are like 4 different distances, and it starts already on, is it Thursday? Yeah, with the 560. These guys are crazy. I mean, it's called Adventure. It's proper adventure with 10,000 meters of climbing. Surely nothing for me, but then there is on Friday, there is this 360. This I really want to go next year. What I figured out from the live stream, from the organization, they really want to push this as the main category, and I actually would love to do this. Even there is 12 hours of racing on the menu then, but this is really I want to do next year. But I had to make my lesson first with the 200 kilometers because I had the feeling I would not be prepared for 360. This 12 hours of racing. I had a few long rides this season so far, but not like this distance. 100 kilometers or even more is a totally different story. And I think it would also, for my main goal, the Unbound, the preparation with the 200 race would fit better. And then from this time I'm building on even longer distances. Yeah, and there's even the 100 was on Sunday, the race. So it's crazy. They had a full-packed program, but they did really well. It was never felt like stressful. The people were relaxed, and even like on Thursday there was like a podium presentation with all the top guns. They did a presentation of 360 and of 200. And yeah, I was on the podium also, and with like big names like Alessandro Valverde, for example, but also other guys I know from marathon, and they're all the grabber pros. So it was really fun to be there, and they give us a good presentation for the riders, but also they do a good job. The only thing what I really found strange, I have to say, is that they call it a non-competitive event. Means it's actually not a race, but there were the best guys in the world there. A few missing maybe from US and maybe Australia, but all in all it was nearly a world championship, I would say. And with that they call it a non-competitive, it's not marked. The route is actually completely not even like arrows or like, so it was all riding by GPS. Okay, if the GPS is working right, maybe it's not a big deal, but sometimes or most of the time my Garmin was not really working well, and I even on the day before the race I went to the GPS guys. There was like my GPS, how is it called? I don't know, but and ask them if there is like a possibility to make it a little bit more accurate, the GPS, or like when for example my Garmin is telling me left or right, some maybe 2 times out of 10 it was not even saying something when I came to a junction. So, and even in the race I figured out it was not working correct, and it was not only my Garmin, it was, they all had the problem. So if you would like, for example, have the map on your Garmin, you could see how the route goes, but you ride in a group with maybe, I don't know, 10 people like we were sometime, and you don't look at the Garmin, you have to look at your front wheel, otherwise you crash, or then it's the left one, you lead, for example, and it happened to me just close before the assistance point, and then I missed the turn. All the other guys went the right direction, but I missed it because I had to full pace and look where I'm going, and the guys turned right, I turned left, and then I was on the end of the big group, and coming to the assistance point, I was going in there last, and I even had a small gap afterwards because I took a little bit more time in this assistance zone. I looped my chain. That was really, I think, a good idea. That saved some watts in the end. But I had to chase back maybe 20 seconds. And this is, it was really hard. And then the longest climb of the race started, and then I catch back, but I felt that it took some effort for myself. But again, it's really strange to have like doing such a call it race, and then riding only with a map, like or like with GPS. That's something I'm really not used to, and I think I would prefer to race still with a mark. I understand if they don't mark the whole route of like the 560 adventure, and it's called adventure, so maybe you can you have to race with lights and everything, and you race on your own most of the time. There I think it's possible to do it like this way, but even on the 360 already, I think they should mark it, because even like on the junction, if they pre-ride it with my Garmin, they would say, okay, it's not making any sound on this cross, so how should I know where to go? You can maybe pre-ride the 200 kilometer course, but the 360, I think you have to be there 2 weeks to cover the whole course in training. Most of the people, it's not possible to do that. Also, they change it every year a little bit, the course, so you cannot say, okay, I know it from last year and I ride it the same way, because they even last minute they changed a few things, and then it's again different. And then I never went so many times wrong on a race like on this race. And I also believe the front guys, like the leading group, did less wrong decisions or wrong directions, because they had like a leading motorcycle there in the camera, and they probably know where to go, and we really struggled, and we looked to ourselves, the riders, and we saying, what's going on here? How can we? And you lose time every time. And then after that, some guys went this way, some guys went that way. I remember one when we went over a bridge, and there was a roundabout, and even like when I checked on the day before on the Komoot app, where you see the course, it was saying different where to go. So it was really, really strange, and there were some marshals out there, but they were not really stopping other cyclists from going on the path. So it really was like a non-competitive event, yeah, but yeah, it's a very important race, and I think it should be marked, even if it's a lot work to do. But I think it's worth it, and it makes it a much more fairer for everyone. And yeah, this is something I felt it's not correct, but this is maybe my opinion. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, then to the outcome of the race. I was in a really good group. Greg van Avermaet, for example, Louis Neef, but also like other guys that I didn't know that well, but I know they are really experienced cyclocross racers and gravel pros, because I still find that I'm a newbie in this gravel, because there are so many guys that are really riding strong, and even like I had a really good day. I have the feeling there are now so many guys that can ride like 200 kilometers or like then 360 kilometers so well, that even with my experience, and I thought I'm pretty good in long distance, but these guys are like, yeah, and I check out how they train, and they're doing really massive amounts of kilometers and hours every year, and they like, yeah, but you don't know them because yeah, so many races are there, and then you, yeah, that you race with them. But with every race I find a few names out that even follow now on social media and also on Strava to see what they are doing, and it's very interesting. So yeah, I was in a really good group, in the actually chasing group with strong guys, and we caught some guys back, but we were still like racing around 30-40 position. And when we chased some guys back, we got close to the top 20, and in the end it was a sprint for, I think, 19th there was the best out of our group. But the guys were not like too far in front. I think it was it 5 minutes to the top 10, something like this. So that's not too bad. But it was really a good experience. The race is well organized, I have to say. It's only the thing with the GPS. All in all, it was a great trip, and yeah, next year I definitely go with the 360. That means starting with lights in the morning, 12 hours roundabout race time. There's also some hike-a-bike section. There's a lot of different things. And also more climbing. I think it's 3,700 meter climbing. It's a little bit, yeah, little bit less compared to the kilometers, like from the 200, but it's in total it's more. Different guys probably riding there, different names, but it needs for sure a different preparation. I have to maybe do some longer rides, like longer trainings, around 300 kilometers already in April. But yeah, no, I think I finished 21st. As I said, sprinting for the top 20. The finish of the race was also very tricky, with like 2 water crossings, then a single track very close to the finish. Yeah, but there's everything in there in this course. It's really cool. Especially the first part reminds me a lot on the Côte d'Azur area, where it's like these kind of fire roads with this loose surface, and with this kind of small trees, bushes around, and the Rock de Sur, for example, where the race is at Fréjus, it was always my favorite race when I was doing mountain bike. But I think this race is for sure my favorite race in Europe, and really want to put more focus on this event next year to do better than this year. What's next? My next race will be Unbound. There is still about 3 weeks to go. I have to do for sure some longer rides now, about 300 kilometers, like 10 hours. 2 rides maybe, the coach told me to do. And also to work a little bit more on my setup on the bike. I hope that I get the new bike now. Really, it's already in the warehouse. We're just waiting for some small parts and make the setup, and hopefully by next week I can test ride it already and make a proper setup of the bike. Hopefully it works like it should be, but on the photos and on the pictures it looks pretty good, fast, much faster than the old version, the old bike. I think it will be a totally different story. I can ride a different gear setup, and also it's more aero. It's for sure much stiffer, but this all I have to see. But the focus is now completely on Unbound. Training wise, there's some nutrition strategy what I really have to work on for it, because I think the nutrition, bike setup, and also the training, the long distance training are the 3 most important points what I want to target on. And yeah, we will see. Hopefully by then I get a little bit more information about the route there. If it's similar to last year, then I know already quite more about it. But if it's more or less new, the route, then I have to check out. But I made my experience last year like I did now with the Traka. I think if on your first appearance, I think it's really, really hard to make a good result. Last year there was so much learning at Unbound. Even this year at the Traka, again, a lot of learning for me. But I think step by step I make the setup right, and also my preparation beforehand better. And if you are better prepared, I think the result will come on its own.